Hi everyone, good evening. क्या हाल चाल है सबके? I hope everyone is safe and doing good. I, Yash Gupta, founder of Crealth Research and Educare. I welcome you all to today's webinar. I hope सब अच्छे हैं in this COVID times. It's tough time for all of us all over the world, but I hope all are doing good. So I welcome you all to today's webinar. Again, today we have a great speaker with us, and this month we have started with a series that is called Young Series, where we are bringing people who are aged less than 25, but they're doing some great work in markets and they're doing some unique work. ऐसा नहीं कि हम we are bringing people who are doing normal work. They're doing some unique and they're doing some great work. So today also we have a speaker with us who is very young, who is very passionate, but he takes his investing decisions very carefully, very seriously. He does a lot of research, and of course we'll get to know about him in a very quick time. So as we start every webinar, so first of all, is my voice clear to everyone? Is it fine? Just a quick yes on the chat box. Fine? Perfect. Great. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Perfect. Great. So if it's not fine, maybe just put on your headphones, so that would be better. Okay. So as we start every webinar, today's webinar also will start with a life learning. And today's life learning is you become what you believe. Again, I repeat, you become what you believe. Okay. So always have your dreams higher, always have your vision higher, so that you would be able to achieve and you will be able to fly high. So why I've taken this quote, because it is very, very important for you to have a belief system on yourself, because if you're not confident about yourself, you will not be able to achieve dreams. You will not be able to achieve your vision. So, and especially in this times, in this year, I've seen a lot of people lose belief that mere se nahi ho paega, maybe I'm not good enough. Okay. So it is very, very important for everyone to understand that. Please have a belief system in yourself, because it is very, very important. Okay. And always try and have a bigger vision in your life. Always try to have a bigger goal in life, so that you will be able to achieve it. And don't get disheartened with a bad year, with a bad times. Same thing happens in market. If one bad day goes, you lose your belief system, you lose your belief on your system, or maybe whatever you're following. So don't do that. Of course, bad and good days will come, but you have to keep working hard, keep believing in yourself, and definitely success will be there at your door once your journey is completed. Okay. So as we write in every webinar, you'll write I pledge on the webinar on the chat box. If you believe that one should have a belief system on yourself, and you should have higher and grander dreams, so that you will be able to achieve it. So write I pledge on the chat box if you believe on this. Okay, I'm getting a lot of I pledges. Thank you so much. So now, without wasting much more time, let's introduce today's speaker. He's Mr. Ayush Gupta. He's like a young brother to me. He has been doing some great work in the equity markets. So Ayush, a warm welcome to you to today's webinar. I'll just give you the access to speak. Yeah, you can go ahead now.
So it's a quick check. Am I audible?
Your voice is not audible, Ayush. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
It's a little low, but it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just check your connection of headphone once.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay. Till then, Ayush has his connection well. I would like to introduce Ayush once again. He's a very young guy who is been doing some great work in markets. He's just age 21, but he has more than 6 to 7 years of experience, because he has started at a very young age. He's very passionate about equities, about long-term investing, and today he'll be sharing how he started his journey from a 15-year-old child who is venturing into markets, who has now become a full-time investor. So he's not
yes, yeah. Am I audible now?
It's been some great work he has been doing, and he'll be sharing his insights about how he does his long-term investing picks. He'll be also sharing some of his journey about this last picks which he has picked up in the last few days, okay, and in the last few years, how he has been able to manage the journey of this topsy-turvy ride, because last few years has not been a one-way ride for equity markets. So Ayush, are you back?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, so you're just put your video on.
One second.
Yeah, welcome Ayush to the webinar. A warm welcome. So I gave your introduction while you were doing this. So as I told, Ayush is a very passionate guy. He keeps on researching, and I know because he keeps on puts his research on various social media platforms. He keeps even talking to us, and it's a pleasure to have you, Ayush, on our platform. And just as we start every webinar, I would like you to share your journey in a very candid way, so that everyone knows how you started at the age of 15, 16, how you started your investing journey, and how it has been till now.
Thank you, Yasvaya, for having me in the show. It's I'm glad to be here in the show. So, basically, how I started my stock market journey.
I
So
think
yeah,
वॉइस
it's
इज
like
अभी भी थोड़ा सा लो आ रहा है, तो आई थिंक यू कैन रिमूव योर हेडफोन, मे बी वो भी कर सकते हो.
one
Is the
second.
voice clear to everyone? Just a quick yes, because I am getting it very low.
Can you guys hear me now?
It's clear, it's clear. Ayush, it's fine. Maybe it's मुझे थोड़ा सा कम सुनाई दे रहा है. It's fine. Ayush, go ahead. Actually, Ayush was also telling me that he was a little nervous also, because it's his first interview. So I told him it's fine, because he has been doing some great passionate work, and वही उसको बोलना है उसी के बारे में. Okay, so go ahead, Ayush. Yeah.
Okay. So a quick check. Am I audible now?
Yeah, perfect. It's audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Yashvaya, for having me in the show. I'm glad to be here and to be a part of this show. How I started my stock market journey? It's a long story. It all started with one big dream. So and to be honest, in the initial days, I had no interest in finance, and I had zero knowledge about business and all. And I was very poor in my studies as well. Back then I used to be a terrible and horrible student, and yeah, but uh, uh, despite all this, my dream was always to be a pilot. I always wanted to become a pilot, and I always wanted to high fly in the sky. To and I you know like uh, One day, like when I was in class 9, one of my relative told me that, dude, if you want to become pilot, you need to be good in studies, right? And you need to be in science. And that really hit me hard, because I it was like I was in no way to give up on my dream of becoming a pilot. And since then, I actually become quite serious in my studies. I started putting effort, and yeah, since then everything was going good. I had given my board examination very well, and yeah, so everything was going good, but I still remember the date. It was 21st May 2014, when I was supposed to get my board examination result. But just 12 days back, on 9th May 2014, yeah, I lost my dad. And that was uh, one of the shocking moment for me, like not for me, for my entire family, because we had never expected anything like that before. And yeah, then like we were in a deep sorrow for many days, and like finally 21st May happened, and I got my result, and finally I scored like 80%, which was like all time highest percentage I've ever scored in my career till then. And but to be honest, it was too late for me by then, because it was already time for me and my brother to move into the new world of business. And yeah,
True.
yes,
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Ayush.
yeah, so it was already time for me and for me and my brother to move into the world of business. And we had a family business, so we had no other option. And but at the same time, our mom wanted us to continue with our studies, because she didn't wanted us to go full time into the business, and left out with our studies. So I remember, that was a tough time for us. And there were times I remember how in the morning I used to go in the school, and then by the evening I had to be there in the workplace. So yeah, I mean, and where I used to manage people double or even triple of my age. So that was a tough time, but yeah, but it gave me a lot, because why I feel so is because the kind of exposure I got in such a young age. I honestly, I don't think any MBA course or any business school can teach you those kind of stuff. So
Absolutely
I
agree.
felt very fortunate to be everything how the way it happened in the past. And although the business which we were managing, me and my brother, got failed in the first 3 years since we took up. So we had to shut down the business, and we had to uh, uh, like uh, uh, sell the business and come out of the debt, because it was in huge losses. And but in those 3 years I've learned a lot. I mean, I already told the kind of exposure which I got was like phenomenal. And yeah, so and at that was the time when stock market also happened to me. So slowly I was getting interested in in the market as well. And by the time I was in my late 70s, I very well understood that there's nothing called overnight success, and it's all about hard work. And I understood that behind every stock there's a company and a business, right? So and it changed my overall perspective towards the way I look the stock market. And I was actually playing the wrong game, because I was there for making quick, I was trading day in and day out for those few bucks, instead of playing the long term wealth creation game. So yeah, since then I started a new journey in stock market after 17. And with all those failures, learnings, and experience. And then, this is how started my journey.
Great, great, Ayush. I think you must show us your PAN card date of birth, because I don't think you are age 20, but the way you're talking, the matured way you're talking, that the way you explained all the things and the key tradings, yeah, of course, there's a short-term income. You need to make long-term wealth creation. The way you explained that, the way you learned the things at your business place, which no one teaches at an MBA college. Of course, practical experience cannot be matched with the theoretical one. So it's some great words coming from you at such a young age. It's commendable, truly commendable. I think all the audience would agree with me. So great. It's of course, losing your dad is at such an early age is not a thing which a young child can cope up with, but you have done that, and I think you should be very proud of that, because you have come through that journey to till now, where you have been investing on your own at the age of 21. That's really really commendable. So as you told in your talk, Ayush, that it's something which you learned at your business place, that how the business things works, how in stock market it's all about how does the business do. So what how much did it help you once you came into stock markets, when you started your long term investing journey? So how much that practical experience in your business helped you in understanding the business and understanding finances and everything? So
Yeah.
that is, I think, very very important for all the audience, especially for those who are young people who are watching us, maybe between who are going to college, or maybe who are starting their journey. It's very important for them to learn this.
To be honest, I've learned, I've got to learn many skills in while in those 3 years. As I said, at times when I used to manage people double or even triple of my age. So I've learned many valuable skills, and I get to interact with such people. So yeah, and like one thing which I'll say, that my business has actually made me from a trader to an investor. Because I realized that what we are doing, we are investing in a company. And when but in if we are building our own company, then we invest our time, money, and all in that single company. But in the market, what we are doing, like we are trading a company for those few bucks. Like why not invest in those companies for long term, right? In India, we are getting an opportunity to invest in such MNC companies like SDFC, and at a click of your mouse, you can become a owner of any MNC company in the world, right? So it actually made me a trader from from trader to investor, and it actually changed my overall perspective to the stock market. So I just I'm very grateful to those times, and all the failures and the experience which I got to learn at that time.
Great, great, Ayush. It's lovely the way you're speaking about markets. You're the matured way you're speaking about it. It's really really great. It's very soothing to listen to as well. So as Ayush, one thing I think ये सबके question सबके life में आता है. Once you think about entering into stock market as a full time career, when you would have told your mom or your brother that no, I want to quit my company and now I want to go to full time investing and मुझे यहीं पे stock market में ही कुछ करना है, तो देन ऑफ कोर्स आपको अपने फैमिली बाकी मेंबर्स और बाकी जितने भी जन बड़े होंगे आपको एडवाइस मिला होगा कि नो स्टॉक मार्केट इज अ प्लेस वेयर इट्स वेरी टफ, इट्स वेरी रिस्की, यहाँ करियर एट अ यंग एज बनाना बहुत, बिकॉज आई हैव बीन थ्रू दैट फेज, लॉट ऑफ पीपल एडवाइस मी आल्सो द सेम थिंग दैट don't go for that right now, go for an MBA or maybe something like that and then maybe think of going to stock markets. So tell us about that journey and tell us something which you would like to advise people, and you would like to open the eyes of those parents who don't want their children, of course, to go into this in this field. Because I feel that there is something where you understand everything practically. जो हमें MBA में theoretically सिखाया जाता है, यहाँ हम लोग practically वो चीज करते हैं. So show us some light on that.
Yeah, so like all I can say is that it was not easy at all, because there were many times, like there were many incidents, like whenever I used to go in any family function, and the relatives used to ask me, "Beta, आप करते क्या हो?" And I used to say, "Uncle, मैं stock market में हूँ." And they say, "अच्छा वो सब तो चलता है, but ऐसे आप लाइफ में क्या कर रहे हो, मतलब करियर में क्या कर रहे हो?" So मतलब, and there were one more incident I remember, like I was in a I was in a meeting. तो वहाँ पे मुझे एक अंकल मिले थे, एंड ही वाज लाइक कि बेटा ये सब स्टॉक मार्केट वगैरह तो सही है, बट आप करियर में कुछ देखो, वरना कोई भी फैमिली अपनी बेटी आपको देने वाला नहीं है. तो मतलब बहुत सारे ऐसे ऐसे इंसिडेंट हुए मेरे लाइफ में, लाइक सो आई like I can probably say one thing कि मतलब the journey will not be easy. There will be many people who will demotivate you, क्योंकि the thing is that हमारे सोसाइटी में मतलब people don't respect equity, right? Like we have a population of more than 130 crore people, and like जिनमें से like we only have 3 crore people investing in stock market. And if you compare this with US and other developed countries, there we have more than 50% people investing in the market. So it's very clear that people here don't respect the equity culture, and I feel इसका reason भी है that because uh, we all have been raised by the parents in 70s and 80s, right? जिनका like वो mentality was to play it safe. जैसे मैं आपको एक डेटा दूंगा, like I was recently going through a video जहाँ पे I got to know that the biggest curse of our country is that you know like if you go to Google, and if you see the top 10 daily Google search, and out of those top 10, two is for government job. And I was shocked to know that, like I mean government does not need so many people, right? And still people wanted to play it safe, and so that is the point. Like to grow as a nation, we need to start respecting equity. We need to encourage entrepreneurs, right? We need to like support the people who are taking big risk in life. So yeah, so that would be the one thing which I would like to say, like then only we can change. And yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, very well said, Ayush, that we need to encourage people to become entrepreneurship, think like an entrepreneur, because the mindset होना बहुत जरूरी है. If you're not thinking like an entrepreneur, you cannot change the way the country looks like on equity markets, on entrepreneurship, because Of course, a lot of people, a lot of young people are not now getting into entrepreneurship. Of course, equity markets are something which is risky, which is not that easy. But India may, maybe in all over the world, there is no career path which is easy. Be it like anything in commerce, from CA to MBA, there's so much of competition. From and being the science background, there's so much of competition. So it's not that easy in any field. You have to struggle. You have to give your hard work. You have to give your 100%. And the same way it's in market, you have to give your 100% in your research, in the system which you build, in the daily routine hard work which you give. It's like a full time business which you are doing. It's not that easy कि बस हम लोग जो सोचते हैं हाँ कुछ भी ले लिया और कुछ भी बेच दिया, right? So very well said, Ayush. I think our country needs people like you who think that we need to become entrepreneurs. And I'm very happy that, of course, I do have that same thought process, and I always try to share it with all my friends and all the people which I talk to. So great insights, Ayush, till now. So before we move on to your presentation, one last question which I would like to ask is, of course, which I ask most of the speakers is, what were their failures till now in the equity markets, and please share that journey with us, because and how do you come out of that? Because ये चीज सबसे मैं इसलिए पूछता हूँ बिकॉज सबके कुछ अलग अलग टाइप ऑफ फेलियर्स होते हैं which is very important for us to hear that, so that we get to learn from that. And जब हमारे लाइफ में भी of course कभी ना कभी failures हर जन के लाइफ में आते हैं, so how do you cope up with that? That is a very very important thing. And always I would like to tell everyone that failures will come in life, but don't think that's the end, because failures के बाद का chapter ही success होता है, as we heard in the Harshad Mehta movie. Great. So Ayush, just share some insights on that, and then we'll definitely go to your lovely presentation which you have built up for us.
Sure. Like one thing which I would like to add is like one of the one of the uh, things which I find like very, once I come in this practical world and reality world, I totally find all this stuff very different than what we have been taught in school, colleges, and all the society which they have taught us. Because like I strongly feel that as a nation we need people with growth mindset, but the society is designed us in such a way that so that we become the person with a fixed mindset. and uh,
True,
and
absolutely.
So basically like fixed mindset are the people who dislikes anybody going up in life, and they believes in competition kind of mindset. And on the other hand, the people with growth mindset are the people who is like, you are making money, I'm making money, and everyone is making money. So they are more of a collaborative in nature, right? And one of the thing which I find very fascinated in stock market is that here people are more collaborative in nature. Like we have one company where we have thousands of investors, and they are looking for their supplier, dealer, and client, and employees, and they just make sure that everyone grow together, and then only they can make money, right? So
True.
stock market is more of a collaborative in nature, and so this I really love about stock market. And talking about the failure, like there are many failures. So one thing which I would like to tell everyone, and it's very common mistake, and still we make every single time. So don't come in the market with debt. Like बहुत लोगों को मैंने देखा है वो लोन लेके मार्केट में पैसे लगाते हैं, राइट? और मैंने भी ये गलती किया है पास्ट में। तो क्योंकि बेसिकली क्या होता है कि अगर मार्केट डाउन जाएगा तो मार्केट कैन रिमेन इरेशनल लॉन्गर देन यू कैन लाइक प्रिडिक्ट, राइट? तो बहुत बार क्या होता है, आपको वो लोन पे इंटरेस्ट देना होता है, राइट? बट आपका वो जो मार्केट में जो पैसा लगा है उस पर आपको रिटर्न नहीं मिलेगा. So that is one of the worst mistake which anyone can make in the market. और बहुत बार मतलब जब हमारा लाइक एज बहुत कम होता है तो वी वांट टू ग्रो वेरी फास्ट, राइट? एंड तभी हम ये मिस्टेक करते हैं. And I still remember. And the another mistake which I would like to say is that बहुत सारे लोग मतलब वो starting में उनको लगता है कि they can come in the market and they want to trade in F&O and derivatives, right? But I would strongly recommend you to first, if you want to come in the market, start with equity, right? Start with companies which you can understand. Because like I myself, I have made this mistake in the past. There was a time like I when I used to make 5,000 rupees a day, and with just 5,000 rupees capital. So basically what I used to do is like I used to trade in crude oil. So एक पॉइंट अगर ऊपर गया तो मेरा 1,000 रुपये आता था, राइट? एंड दिस वे लाइक मेरा एम वाज टू हर दिन का मुझे 5 पॉइंट निकालना है और मेरा 5,000 रुपया बन गया. एंड माई ब्रोकर यूज टू गिव मी लाइक 10-20 times the margin. So you know that was the biggest mistake which I was doing, but without realizing it, क्योंकि उस टाइम हर दिन का 5,000 I was earning, so I was like अरे मैं वॉरेन बफेट बन गया and everything, like I know everything about the market. And you know like एक महीने में like मैंने जितने भी पैसे कमाया था वो एक दिन में that पैसा gone, मतलब पूरा खत्म हो गया. So I still remember that Black Monday. And that was important because you know आपको वो ग्राउंड पे रहना वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि आप जब एक बार मतलब स्पीड में जाते हो ना तो यू फील दैट कि यू आर द बॉस, यू आर इनविंसिबल. तो आई बिलीव that's very important. So I would strongly recommend everyone to not do anything which you don't understand. Like अगर आपको मार्केट में पैसा भी लगाना है तो आप पहले स्टार्ट करो लाइक पीवीआर एंड आइनॉक्स से, राइट? और आप उनकी कंपनी को स्टडी करो क्योंकि उनका बिजनेस मॉडल, राइट, आप अगर देखोगे तो उनका लाइक रेवेन्यू कहाँ से आता है? वो पॉपकॉर्न बेचते हैं, फिर टिकट सेल्स होते हैं, मार्केटिंग और एड का पैसा आता है, राइट? उनका एनुअल रिपोर्ट पढ़कर आप स्टार्ट करो. बहुत लोग क्या करते हैं मार्केट में, वो स्टार्टिंग में आके कॉम्प्लिकेट बना देते हैं, लाइक रिलायंस हो गया, एचडीएफसी, इतना मोटा एनुअल रिपोर्ट खोल के बैठेंगे, उनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, राइट? तो यू शुड स्टार्ट विद समथिंग विच जिनका प्रोडक्ट आप यूज कर रहे हो, एंड उनसे आप स्टार्ट करो, उनका बिजनेस मॉडल आप समझो, फिर स्लोली स्लोली आप कैपिटल इंक्रीज करो. And yeah, so this are some of the mistakes which I have done, and so you guys can follow this.
ग्रेट आयुष, मतलब इतने अच्छा, इतना मजा आ रहा है मुझे बात करके. दैट the great insights, the 3 points which you mentioned, I think it's very very important. That first, never ever start with debt. Debt is something जो अगर आप लेके मार्केट में स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो यू आर डूइंग अ काइंड ऑफ अ सुसाइडल थिंग इन द मार्केट, बिकॉज डेट इज समथिंग जहाँ पे मार्केट ऑफ कोर्स इज अ रिस्की प्लेस, और वहां पे आप ऑलरेडी डेट लेके आ रहे हो तो इट बिकम्स 100% मोर रिस्कियर देन इन्वेस्टिंग. एंड प्लस एट द बिगनिंग जब आप स्टार्ट कर रहे हो तो उस समय आपको इतना एक्सपीरियंस भी नहीं है, सो मैनेजिंग दैट डेट एंड पेइंग दैट इंटरेस्ट प्लस अर्निंग मनी, तो उस समय अपना माइंडसेट ही टोटल चेंज हो जाता है कि वी नीड टू अर्न वेरी फास्ट एंड वी नीड टू अर्न बिग. तो वो माइंडसेट ही पूरा चेंज हो जाता है, एंड दैट्स व्हाई वी लूज मनी. And secondly, as you told, don't start with derivatives. I totally agree with you, because a lot of people make that mistake, that start derivatives something which seems very fascinating, very quick money, आज लिया कल डबल हो जाएगा, ऐसा मिथ्स चलता है मार्केट में. बट इट्स नॉट दैट इजी. इफ इट वुड हैव बीन दैट इजी तो सब अपना बिजनेस छोड़ के सब डेरिवेटिव्स ही करते. So it's not that easy. Of course, people should start with equities. People should start with those kind of companies, as you told, that's very easy to understand कि उसका business model क्या है, वो क्या कर रहा है. Don't start with complicated companies. So Ayush, let me tell you, I've been like the last time when I spoke to you, and abhi jab when I'm speaking to you in the webinar, you have become very very matured, very very commendable, I should say, because the way you're speaking, the way your thought process is there, I think we need more young people like you who can change the way our country thinks. So great, Ayush.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Like, I strongly feel that it's because of your, you know, surrounding. Because like you are the average of the 5 people you become in the life, right? So I strongly believe in this quote, and you know, so that is the reason I always like I have people like you, Arun Bhaiya and Soumya Bhaiya in the market, and so many other people who I am, you know, as my mentor. So yeah, so ये इसका ही result है.
It's always a pleasure to have people like you surrounding you, have the same thought process, and who are willing to guide you. So great, Ayush. With this, I keep it up to the questions. Of course, we'll have a Q&A session with the audience as well, because I think there are a lot of people who will be wanting to ask you questions. But before that, I'll give you the floor to you, so that you can share your wonderful presentation where you'll be teaching us how to what patterns and what fundamental things we should see before picking up a long-term stock in our portfolio, and how do you do that for your portfolio, and maybe for people who are around you. So it would be, I think, some great learnings for all of us, and it would be some amazing data points which I think we'll be sharing. So great. So all over to you, Ayush. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you guys see it?
Yes, it's pretty much visible.
Okay, so it's visible, right?
Yeah, it's completely visible. Ayush, go ahead.
Okay, sure. So yeah, first of all, I would like to give a disclaimer that the stocks discussed here are strictly for educational purpose and not any you know like any recommendations, because these are the examples to make you understand the patterns and concept to select stocks. So if you are investing in these companies, then please consult your investment advisor. And I might or might not have any position in the stocks, so please consult your investment advisor so that he or she can guide you as per your risk appetite. Yeah, so moving on. India, a multi-billion dollar opportunity, right? These are the quote from some of the great big names in the industries like Samit Varthak, whom I follow very closely. So this guy said that today's Apple's market value is the same as all the listed companies in India. And if you had the money, which would you buy for the next 20 years, right? And then RK Damani, like the best time to invest in India is today. The opportunity in the next 20 years will be greater than the those in the past 20 years. And this is what like Jeff Bezos said. Like, I want to make a prediction for you. I predict that the 21st century is going to be the Indian century. And this all like foreigners and Indian people, big names in the society, are so bullish in India. But the problem which I see in our country is that like the people of India are not so bullish in India. They are not so optimistic in India, because whenever I go and speak with my friends and everyone, they are of the mindset that they want to start a business in US. They want to go in Dubai, or they want to go in Singapore. They want to do something there. But I don't find any reason like why they don't want to start in India itself, because like I see that India is going to be the the opportunity for the next decade. So that is like one of the big thing which I never understand. And so until and unless, like and as I said previously, that top in the top 10 Google search, out of the top 10, two is for government jobs. So people are so like they want to play it so safely that they don't want to take that much risk. So that is the one thing which I would like to change. I want people to become more you know kind of risk takers, so that they can be a part of this growth opportunity. Because see, the point is that if we are going to participate in this India's growth story or not, India will grow irrespective of our participating or not, right? If we are not going to participate, then those foreigner investors will come and invest in India. Those US and Chinese companies will invest in India. And we will always remain employers, employees of those uh, big companies. So yeah, that is the one thing. And and we will always have 25 companies with all the profits, and 25 applications with all the users, and 25 entrepreneurs with all the popularity. So it's high time that we have to change our mindset and attitude towards the country, towards the equity and everything, so that we can like benefit from this India's growth story. So yeah, let's move on. So today I will be speaking of instead of speaking for any stocks, I would like to speak for the patterns which I use to select those companies, so that you guys can understand the process behind picking those companies, right? So the first pattern which I follow very closely is the strong distribution. Yeah. So if you see the any successful companies, like they all mainly in consumer companies, like large distribution is one of the biggest competitive advantage for the companies to scale up their business and continuation of growth. For example, like if you got 10,000 distributors, and then you can keep selling the new products in the same distribution channel for higher growth, right? And uh, so give you one example. Basically 500 years ago, the person who used to entertain were poorer than the person to whom they entertain. But slowly, as they found distribution, then the person who entertained are richer than the person who's been entertained, right? Because they got internet, they got stage, and they got cinema. In short, they got distribution. So that's the power of distribution, right? And like in the past 5 7 years, I've met like more than 50 companies, including starters and all. And the one thing which I found very common in all the entrepreneurs was that everyone was like, if I get money, I can do anything. And I'm sure many of you have heard the same, because I've been hearing this since long, that if I get money, I can do anything. But I will tell you one thing: in today's time, if you get the distribution, you can do anything, right? And so let's move on to the examples of like company like Havels. So if you study the business model of Havels, like they did the same thing. So they started with wires, and then they expanded it into switch, and then they started manufacturing fans and light bulbs, everything. And every time they were coming out with a new product, they were doing the same thing, they were selling it to the same distributor. And so that led to the massive growth in companies like Havels, Relax, and Kajaria. Yeah, and so there's a company called PABP Foods and Beverages. So this is an unlisted company where I've invested in 2018. Yeah. So in this company, like the first time when I was investing in this company, there were so many people who told me, basically my friend, they told me that you are going to lose your money by investing in this company. There are companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi in this industry, and like what you are doing, you are like throwing away your money in such a junk company. So I said one thing, like who's going to compete with Coke and Pepsi? Like India is such a huge market. We have a population of 130 plus crore. Even we can reach this sales of 100 crore. We can make a massive money. And fortunately, last year we in like in just 3 years we closed the uh, this company with the sales of 15 crore. And yeah, so the basically the we also use the same model, so it's a distribution led model, and we have did a sales of 15 crore without spending any money on marketing. So now many of you will ask that how you can do a sales of 15 crore without spending any single penny on marketing. So again, it's a power of distribution. Instead we are using the same money, the marketing money we are using to pay the margins to the distributor, so that they can push our products to the retailers. So yeah, so this was all about the distribution. I just want to show you about the power of distribution, that if you find a large distribution or in any company, it's worth studying the company. So don't miss this company. So these are the trigger point. It's not that if you find any company with a large distribution you should invest in that company. No, it's not like that. That should be the trigger point. You should start your study from those companies, right? So again, let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, now this is very interesting. Power of parent support. So in India, basically, I have observed this pattern. Any company with the parent support can able to scale up and grow their business really fast in very less time compared to their competitors. Mostly, what happens is that they get the technical know-how and all the net, networking support from their parent. And if you see the companies like Bajaj Finance, so they started giving loans to the customers of Bajaj Auto, right? And they started with their parent. They were giving loans to the customers of Bajaj Auto. And once they understand the lending business very well, and then this again like expanded into the consumer lending. So they took advantage of their parent. And again, if you took the example of SBI Life, I mean, like they also did the same thing. They like their 50% revenue comes from the amazing branch network of SBI Bank. They are using the branch of SBI as a leverage, right? So any companies with a parent support and with good networking will always do well. And recently I've bought this company like last year, Apollo Tricort with the same pattern. So this company, what happens is like the Sanjay Gupta, like I'm a big fan of that guy. Like I would strongly tell everyone to just go and study about Sanjay Gupta. uh, this guy knows marketing and sales to the core. I mean, and on in Feb 2019, he took over this company based still, and he like he changed the name of that company to Apollo Tricot, and they come up with the all the distribution and the technical know-how and like networking of APL Apollo, another company, listed company, and they replicate the same on Apollo Tricot. So they got the entire support of that Sanjay Gupta, and this company has like moved from 130 to like 600 in a like in just 18 months. So that is the power of parent support. So this is another amazing patterns which I follow very closely in the market. If I found any company with great parent support, I will definitely study those companies. So yeah, now the third pattern which I would like to speak about is the power of brand. So any companies who are building a strong brand, it is worth studying, because once you create a brand, then you get the pricing power, and you also get to connect with the end customers. So okay, basically I'll tell you one very interesting story of Maruti. So basically in 2014, अपने को सबको पता है लाइक एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज आया था इंडिया में. वी लाइक द लॉन्च ऑफ ओला एंड उबर for the first time, and for the first time we started booking cab through mobile phones at a single click. And so whenever I used to go out of my building or on road, मतलब कुछ दिखे या ना दिखे, मुझे एक चीज हमेशा दिखता था, ओला उबर का स्विफ्ट डिजायर. सो स्विफ्ट डिजायर वो इटसेल्फ में अपने खुद में ही एक ब्रांड बन गया था, राइट. एंड I even I went to the dealers and uh, all the showrooms in Calcutta, like 4 5 showrooms in the Calcutta. मैंने बात किया उनसे अबाउट स्विफ्ट डिजायर, एंड एवरीवन टोल्ड दैट कि स्विफ्ट डिजायर का वेटिंग पीरियड इज लाइक मोर देन 3 to 4 month. लाइक अगर आज आप वो बुक करोगे तो आपको 5 महीने बाद वो गाड़ी मिलेगा, राइट. उनका इतना हाई लाइक वो वेटिंग वो था पीरियड. And then that was a common sense to buy Swift Desire, because and I also have a word with couple of drivers जहाँ पे they told me that so Swift Desire का major like big competitor was Tata Indica. And compared to Tata Indica, the all the like servicing में Swift Desire was the best car. और commercial vehicle में और उतनी like high level पे कोई गाड़ी नहीं थी. So I remember like in 2015 around, I bought this company, and in less than 18 months, in 24 months, this company has moved up like more than 150%. So this is the power of brand. Once you get to and I would strongly recommend everyone to read one book, One Upon Wall Street. So how I bought Maruti was from that book only. So जब मैंने वो book पढ़ा था for the first time, Peter Lynch talk about बाइंग कंपनीज अराउंड यू. तो आप जो भी शॉपिंग मॉल पे जाते हो, या कुछ भी प्रोडक्ट आप यूज कर रहे हो, या जो भी फोन आप यूज कर रहे हो, उनका कंपनीज आप देखो वो क्या कैसी कंपनीज है, एंड यू शुड स्टडी दोज कंपनीज, because you itself you are a customer of that company, right. And that is the reason how I got to know about Maruti, because I started observing things around me. If you are in the market, then observing is one of the best skill which you can have. And if like if you see the business model of Hindustan Unilever, they have some great amazing brands like Horlicks, Dove, Lifebuoy, and Sunsilk. And if you see the like Eicher Motor ka bhi same case hai, like they have bought Royal Enfield, like so this all companies have done one thing, they have built an amazing brand which can connect with the end customers. So if you find any company which which is creating a great amazing brand, you should definitely like study that company. Who knows, like that might be the next multibagger. So yeah, now this is one of the favorite pattern on which I'm working recently. Power of community-led companies, right? So okay, so companies in the post-COVID world, I believe are likely going to be the community-led businesses. The modern businesses and starters are focusing on building a community. So I will tell you one interesting thing. If you are an entrepreneur today, or please listen this very carefully. If you are running any company, so like you are likely to succeed if you are going to build a audience before you build a product, right. I will repeat this, like if you are an entrepreneur today, you are likely to succeed if you are going to build a audience before you build a product. because having hundreds and thousands of people behind you supporting you like anything is one of the biggest competitive advantage which you can have in 2020. So this is likely the case with all the edtech companies. If you see their business model, like they're creating a community, right? And again with Instagram, if you see this, like what Instagram did was like they created a community of people with influencers and create. Yeah, this is an interesting company like by Kunal Saha. I'm a big fan of that guy. I would strongly recommend everyone to just go and study about this Kunal Saha. Like I believe he's one of the best business mind in like in this world. So they are also doing the same thing. They are also building like a community of people with a high CIBIL score, and interestingly, the Crate call their users as members, which is also signaling about building a community. And so yeah, the companies which so unfortunately we don't have so much companies listed in India in this space, but there are some companies which can be relatable with this community led business model. So companies like IndiaMart and Naukri are few listed companies in this space, which you can relate with this. So IndiaMart, what IndiaMart is doing is like they are building a community of people with people who deals in B2B business, and Naukri has created a community of people people who are looking for jobs. So personally, I've been invested in IndiaMart, but again, I would like to use this as a disclaimer that please consult your investment advisor before like buying or selling any company, because these are not any kind of recommendation. I'm using this company's name just to to like teach you about how you can select and pick companies using these patterns, and my buying price may be much lower level. So please consult your investment advisor so that they can guide you as per your risk appetite. So yeah, now moving on to the next one. uh, okay, so intention of the management. Uh, like this is by far one of the most important patterns which I look for in every company. So intention of the management is like recently I was watching an interview of Madhusudan Kila, and what he said was that the quality and intention of the management for minority shareholders are the two most important framework for identifying multi-baggers. Titan become multi-bagger because Tata had the intent for making money for the minority shareholders. They didn't issue variants to themselves, and they saw big opportunity ahead, right? So what is the intention of the management? Whether they want to make money for the shareholders is very important in while choosing any company. And so I'll use a case study of Gelfong Design. So this is the company. I'm sure many of you must be knowing that I've been very bullish since long. Uh, uh, so okay, so I'll try to explain you in a very simple way why I have choose this company. So let's see. There's a startup called Mehoop where Jelfong used to own 9% stake, and the Sandipan Chattopadhyay, the founder of Jelfong, used to own 2.4% stake. Now, like around 2017, SL Partner is like world ka top comes in top VC firm, and they invested 45 crores for 20% stake, which itself translates to a valuation of 225 crores for Mehoop. Now, what Sandipan did is like कि किसी भी investors को कुछ doubt ना हो, and to remove the slightest chance of the conflict of interest, he sold his 2.5% stake in Mehoop to Zeltmok at like just 43 lakh rupees, right? And I mean like Zeltmok had the money. He if considering the SL Partners valuation, Sandipan could have easily sold this company for 5.5 crores. But uske baad bhi he sold the company only for 43 lakh rupees because he showed his commitment towards the company. And like to be honest, मतलब आज के time में I've never seen any such guy जो अपना 5 करोड़ रुपए ऐसे ही किसी को दे देगा कंपनीज को, वो भी शेयर होल्डर्स को, भाई तुम एंजॉय करो मैं जा रहा हूँ. तो आई मीन लाइक ऑनेस्टली जब मैंने ये फर्स्ट टाइम देखा था तो मेरे को एक सेकंड के लिए डाउट हुआ था. आई पर्सनली थॉट कि ओके मे बी लाइक उन्होंने यहाँ पे ऐसे पैसा दिया 5 करोड़ रुपए और वो पीछे से सैलरी हाई लेते होंगे. तो जब मैंने एनुअल रिपोर्ट खोल के सैलरी देखा तो आई वॉज इन बिग शॉक, क्योंकि लाइक उनका सैलरी वॉज लाइक 15 लाख रुपीज। एंड आई सेड लाइक ओनली 15 लाख रुपीज, मतलब आई नो कपल ऑफ सीए, दे आर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, उनका सैलरी इज 15 लाख रुपीज मतलब साल का। एंड संदीपान जैसे मतलब उनका बैकग्राउंड जो है वो 15 लाख रुपया सैलरी लेते हैं। तो अगेन लाइक मतलब आई वॉज लाइक ये कैसे हो सकता है, दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल। तो फिर मैं और स्टडी किया इस कंपनी को, लाइक यू नो द होल थिंग इज द इंटेंशन ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट। द मैनेजमेंट का इंटेंशन क्या है, उसे मतलब पैसे बनाना है कंपनी शेयर होल्डर्स के लिए, उन्हें कुछ बेंचमार्क क्रिएट करना है, राइट। तो लाइक फिर हाँ, तो यू कैस कैन सी दैट ये जो अनाउंसमेंट था, लाइक जो मिहुक का वो स्टेक मतलब जेलमॉक को बेचे 2.4% स्टेक, ये अनाउंसमेंट आया था 7 अगस्त 2019। सो प्लीज नोट दिस पॉइंट, हाँ, 7 अगस्त 2019। नाउ लेट्स मूव अहेड। एंड या सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द इंटरव्यू ऑफ संदीपान चट्टोपाध्याय जब वो आईपीओ का लॉन्च होने वाला था इन 2019 फेब अराउंड। तो दिस इंटरव्यू इज विद ब्लूमबर्ग क्विंट, जहाँ पे he said that personally I have a huge hope that the retail would participate in the IPO, because the main reason for coming on the main board is to make sure that 12,000 or 15,000 checks come in and not the SMA lock-in of 1 lakh rupees, which is not really middle class. So he really wanted to make money for the like middle class and retail investors, because अगर वो चाहते तो like he would have gone to PE and private equity or venture capital, और उनके जैसे कंपनी को like anyone would have offered 300 करोड़ का valuation, but instead he choose to come in the market, list in the main board, because यहाँ पे उन्होंने clearly बोला है कि he wanted to make money for the retail shareholders. So I mean, this is a gold standard info, right? And it was available in public domain, and no one was bothered to go through all this detail. And ये info is of Feb 2019. तो आप मतलब वो समझना, राइट, वो ये उन्होंने वो इंटरव्यू में फेब में बोला था 2019 में, एंड ये उन्होंने बोला था अगस्त 2019 में, राइट। नाउ लेट्स सी, if we see the price of the company, ये जब आईपीओ का लॉन्च मतलब आईपीओ लिस्ट हुआ था मार्केट में, दैट टाइम वाज अराउंड 60 रुपीज, राइट। एंड देन 1 second, yeah, that time it was around 60 rupees, and then जब अगस्त में उनका मेहुक का जो अनाउंसमेंट आया था, उस टाइम भी कंपनी was trading around like in the range of 50 or 60. And I was shocked to see that कि अब तक मार्केट ने इस कंपनी को नोटिस नहीं किया, like या am I missing something और मार्केट knows something, मतलब मैं खुद कंफ्यूज हो गया था। एंड देन उनका सैलरी was 15 लाख रुपीज, तो मतलब आई was completely in shock कि ये हो कैसे सकता है, मतलब आज के टाइम में ऐसी कंपनीज कहाँ मिल सकती है, राइट। एंड उसके बाद भी आपने देखा होगा प्राइस वाज इन द सेम रेंज लाइक 50 to 60। एंड देन लाइक मार्च 2020 में एक धमाका हुआ। तो लाइक ही वाज कंटिन्यूअसली सेइंग इन द कॉन कॉल ऑफ लास्ट 5 कॉन कॉल कि वो मार्च 2020 में दिस कंपनी विल ब्रेक इवन। एंड मार्च 2020 में ये कंपनी ने सच में ब्रेक इवन करके दिखाया, जो वो एक साल से कंटिन्यू अपने कॉन कॉल में बोल रहे थे, और उन्होंने मार्च में वो कंपनी ब्रेक इवन करके दिखाया। एंड देन लाइक मैंने बोला ओके, अब लाइक आई कांट वेट फॉर मोर क्लैरिटी, इतना लाइक ये बहुत है। एंड लाइक उसके बाद भी लाइक आपने देखा होगा कि ये जब कोरोना वायरस का मार्केट क्रैश हुआ था, उसमें ये कंपनी वाज लाइक 37 का लो मारा था, आई गेस। आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर दैट डे, लाइक वो 40 से 37 आ गया था। एंड लाइक इन अ मैटर ऑफ 5 months this company has went up to like 350. So it's around 10 times return, right? So that is the power of intention of the management. अगर management का intention is right, तो आप मतलब उसके प्राइस को ज्यादा देर तक मतलब कभी ना कभी वो अर्निंग्स मतलब प्राइस के साथ कैचअप करेगा, एंड मार्केट उसको स्कार्सिटी प्रीमियम देगा ही देगा। क्योंकि बिकॉज इंडिया में द मेन प्रॉब्लम इज लाइक अराउंड 90% कंपनीज चोर है, राइट। तो अगर इफ यू आर गेटिंग अ गुड मैनेजमेंट, अगर मार्केट को ऐसा लगता है कि मैनेजमेंट इज लाइक ऑनेस्ट एंड जेन्युइन, तो मार्केट उसको हमेशा प्रीमियम देगा, एंड दे विल ऑलवेज like trade the company in like 50 100 kind of PE. So that is the power of intention of the management. So I always go for companies जिनका management का जो intention है वो सही है, क्योंकि like अगर कोई companies अगर 15-20% करके भी grow कर रहे हैं ना with a good intention, I'm happy to invest in that company rather than investing in a company which are growing at 40% but जिनके management का intention सही नहीं है, right? So I'm happy with 20% with good intention. So I would strongly tell everyone, आप कभी भी कोई भी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो तो एक बार मैनेजमेंट का क्या इंटेंशन है इसके ऊपर आप स्टडी कर लेना, लाइक वो सैलरी कितने लेते हैं कंपनी से, वो टैक्स कितना पे कर रहे हैं, उनका आरओई कितना है, लाइक इंडिया में लाइक इफ यू आर generating 20 to 25% kind of ROE, it's more than enough, right? वो profit कैसे दिखा रहे हैं, so this all things are very important. And आपने देखा like the power of intention of the management, like the company become 10 times in less than 5 months. I mean, like where you get this kind of return on planet Earth. So yeah, now let's move on to the next pattern, and this is like one of the most important pattern, जो बहुत बेसिक है बट उसके बाद भी बहुत सारे लोग इस पे उतना फोकस नहीं करते हैं. What I have observed in the market, cash flow is the key. So basically like cash flow, क्या होता है, like बहुत सारे लोगों को मैंने देखा है, they only focus on the companies जो profit, मतलब profit making companies है, उनको बस PL statement देखना होता है. They don't bother to check the cash flow statement. And so I will ask you one question, like are all profit making companies really better than the loss making companies? Like it seems like a dumb question, right? Yeah, I know, but let's see, matlab, dig deeper in this. So one second. So yeah, this is the case study of Eicher Motor. So Eicher Motor was a loss-making company before 2008, right? And I've read in couple of articles that the company shut down when because they were in so much loss. And before 2008, like around 2008, Siddharth joined the company with all his team, management team, and they have the vision to turn around this company, and which they did, right? So this company has reported like net profit of 63 in 2008, then 83 in 2009. But the most interesting thing is that unka CFO, cash flow from operation, is 368 crore ka, right? But I'm sure like बहुत सारे investor ने ये देखा ही नहीं होगा CFO. They would have only seen that net profit 83 crore का in 2009, and yeah. So उनको लगा होगा ये company is in debt and all that, so they would have waited for more time. So I will tell you one thing, the reason why CFO is higher, it might be because of two reasons. एक like net profit में क्या होता है कि वो depreciation charge होता है, right? But depreciation is a non cash item जो आपका cash flow में reflect करेगा. And the second reason is that working capital management. Maybe this company might be getting at like credit from the supplier or advance from the customer, which is also one of the great and amazing pattern. अगर कोई भी कंपनीज लाइक छोटी कंपनी अगर वो कस्टमर से एडवांस पाता है और सप्लायर से क्रेडिट पा रहा है इतने कम बेस में, तो दैट कंपनी इज वर्थ स्टडिंग. एंड वो सारी चीज मतलब कैश फ्लो में रिफ्लेक्ट होते हैं, राइट? तो दैट इज द रीजन आपने देखा कि लाइक वो प्रॉफिट आया था 83 करोड़ का, उसके बाद भी लाइक कंपनी का जो कैश फ्लो है दैट वाज 368. आई मीन अमेजिंग. And in 2010 maybe same हुआ था, like the profit was 189 but the cash flow was 336. And I'm sure like more than like 80% investor ने ये देखा ही नहीं होगा cash flow. They would have only opened that net profit and वो अपना decision ले लिए होंगे, right? Maybe अगर वो cash flow देखते तो उनका allocation would be 5% की जगह वो 10% कर सकते थे, because they would have become more bullish. And if you see in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, हर साल मतलब the same thing has replicated. मतलब the cash flow is always higher than the net profit. So like this is one of the amazing pattern. And जैसे कि मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बोला था, सभी like profit making companies का better होता है loss making companies से. तो like ये loss making companies से profit आ गया with good cash flow. And now I will give you another example of okay, so let's come in the price. आपने देखा होगा like 2009 में अगर कोई ये दिखता 83 and 368 का, if he would have bought this company around like I guess that time the price was around 30, 25 to 30. And in the next like seven like 8 years, the company has went up from 25 to 2500. It's like more than 100 bagger. So like that is the power of a great working capital management. uh, because like once you were getting advance from the customers, you can use that money. It's a free float for you. You can use that money to pay debt. You can use that money to expand your capacity. You can use that money to launch new products, right? क्योंकि आपका उस पे interest नहीं लग रहा है. And again, like if someone would have waited for so long, अगर उन्होंने वो company 2012 में भी buy किया होता, continue चार like 4 years continue, उनका cash flow was increasing and was higher than net profit. उसके बाद भी in 2012 I guess this company was around 250. उसके बाद भी this is like 10 bagger, right? I mean, amazing. And now let's come to the another example, another case study. So this is the case study of Rico India. So Rico India was a profit making company. This was not a loss making company. So yeah, Rico India का क्या हुआ था, like they are continuously reporting profit. बट उनका अगर आप कैश फ्लो देखोगे तो इट वाज लाइक 2011 में उनका 16 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट आया था, बट कैश फ्लो वाज -9. बट यहाँ पे like around -3 -1 का लॉस था, बट कैश फ्लो वाज इन मैसिव मैसिव नेगेटिव -63 -97. then again 2014 में and 15 में it was in plus profit, and again the cash flow का जो condition था that was deteriorating every single year. उसके बाद भी क्या हुआ, like people were focusing on like PL, they weren't focusing on cash flow statement. आप देखोगे like क्या हुआ, उनका जो प्राइस है, and I was shocked to see that मतलब ये प्राइस इतना भागा क्यों, because like the company का पैसा आ ही नहीं रहा था. Company was showing net profit, and net profit can be easily manipulated, but cash flow को manipulate करना उतना आसान नहीं होता है. It's very very difficult, it's next to impossible. तो बेसिकली अगर किसी ने ये नेट कैश फ्लो और देखा होता कि उनके पैसा आ नहीं रहे बट कंटिन्यू कंपनी प्रॉफिट में, हाउ इज दिस पॉसिबल, राइट? तो उनको ये समझ में आ जाता. बट फॉर्चुनेटली ये 2015 में जब उनका कैश फ्लो वाज -222, किसी स्मार्ट इन्वेस्टर ने देखा होगा, एंड देन द like the game started again in 2015. Maybe the price was like near peak 2500, in the range of 2500 to 3000. अगर like फिर उसके बाद आप देखो क्या हुआ इस कंपनी को, like this company या सॉरी मतलब मैंने आइचर मोटर खोला हुआ था. Yeah, so like this company ka peak was 1000 rupees, and this company has fallen from 1000 to 200, more than 80%. Just like इसको इस कंपनी को सेबी ने बैन कर दिया था ट्रेडिंग, बिकॉज the management were inflating the profit and sales figure of the uh, of this company. And like this was clearly visible in the cash flow. If you see the cash flow, this was clearly visible in the cash flow, but still investors ने profit and loss देखा, and this company went to like from nowhere to 1000 rupees. And but finally, as I said, like क्या होता है मार्केट में अल्टीमेटली जो भी like earnings होता है, जो भी कंपनी का फंडामेंटल्स होता है, प्राइस उसको कभी ना कभी कैच करेगा सूनर और लेटर, राइट? And same happened with this company in 2016. The company, like the management themselves accepted that ki ha, they were inflating profit, they were manipulating the PL statement, and this company has been banned since then in 200 levels. So yeah, so that is the power of the like cash flow, and still people focus on net flow. So I feel that instead of focusing on PL statement, we should always see the cash flow statement first. बिकॉज ये पर्सनली मैं वही करता हूँ. मैं कोई भी एनुअल रिपोर्ट अगर खोलूंगा तो मैं सबसे पहला चीज आई सी इज लाइक देयर कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट. इफ अगर कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट इज फाइन, देन मैं आगे बढ़ता हूँ, राइट? And I believe like making money in the market is like if you can survive in the market, that is more important, right? तो कुछ पैसे के लिए आप मतलब अपना रिस्क मैनेजमेंट अगर आप वो करोगे तो like once you go out of the market, then it's very difficult to again come in, because capital is the main thing, right? So that is why it's very important to lose some companies, because return on capital is more important than return of capital, right? uh, so yeah, now let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so now the next big theme, which where I'm very very bullish, is like the artificial intelligence. And even I have tweeted about this some times ago. Like the total amount of money which invested in AI startups during 2011 to 2018 were like more than $50 billion, and in 2020 alone, like more than $62 billion invested in like in AI startups, right? So जितने last 7 साल में जो पैसा invest नहीं हुआ उतने like we have done in like in 2020 alone. So artificial intelligence is the one space where I'm very bullish for like in the coming future. And the another theme where I'm very bullish is like the Rico, this edtech companies. So if you see the performance of this edtech company and the overall industry, it has grown like more than 10 times in just 5 years. By 2021, like the total user will be $9.6 million, and which was like only 1.6 million in 2016. So I mean edtech is the future. I strongly feel that. And there's a guy, Suman Bose. I was watching one of his interview, and he told that one of the biggest company in the world by 2020, by 2020, 45, yeah, 2045 will be the edtech companies. So yeah, you guys can go and study this two theme, artificial intelligence and edtech, where I'm very bullish. And yeah, so that's it from my side. If you have any query, you can mail me at ayush4724@gmail.com, and you can also like follow me on my Twitter. I have given the handle here. So yeah, thank you guys. So that is from my side, Yashviya.
Great, Ayush. So it was a wonderful presentation. I think it was some great learnings for us. I think you can just stop your screen so that we can see you fully.
Yeah, 1 second.
So, yeah, so yeah, now you're visible clearly.
Yeah,
So once again, first of all, Ayush, it was a wonderful presentation. I think I enjoyed a lot. I think everyone got to know some great learnings about some great patterns which you told, and the way you've explained them in such a beautiful way and with practical examples. I think it would not have been much easier. I think you can just see the response which we are getting from the audience. It's
yeah.
perfect. It's on some excellent presentation, great stuff. So it's superb. I think it was some great learning for all of us. It was some great learning for me as well. The way you have identified the patterns, the examples which you've given, it's amazing. At such a young age, you're doing some amazing work, and I think you are a stock which everyone would like to invest into. Uh, so if I talk about market terms, so Ayush, once again, congratulations. It was some great learnings. And now I would open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, any doubts for Ayush, I think he would be very happy to answer. Thank you so much for the feedbacks. I think Ayush,
Thank you, everyone. I just love it.
you would be seeing it on the chat box. I think some great feedbacks, and first time I've seen such amazing feedbacks for a speaker. So it's really commendable at such a young age. You are getting so much knowledge, and the way you're expressing it, the way you have found of patterns which are, I think, very simple, but very effective as well. So once again, congratulations. So I
Thank you,
think
Yashviya.
yeah, perfect. So I think there was one question on, in terms of great companies quoting at higher valuations, how do you look at PEG ratio? I think there was a question on the chat box.
Okay. So like on the valuation side, right?
Yeah, in terms of great companies quoting at very high valuations, maybe he's talking about companies like DMart and HUL.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, like I honestly, if I say that I don't track those companies so closely, because I'm a small and mid cap investor. So basically, like these companies are trading at a higher valuation because of a reason. As I said, because in India, like we have only 25 companies with a market cap of more than like 1 lakh crore, right? Only 25 companies, and we have so much like big institutions and FIIs, like they have to put their money in some place, right? So that is the reason they are getting the scarcity premium, because we don't have much company. If you have only 25 companies, then obviously like all the liquidity will be in those companies only, right? So once we see that, the companies like small and mid cap companies started becoming big, then I don't think this valuation will be sustainable, because once we have more capital, I mean more companies growing well, then the liquidity will shift from small big companies to small companies. But now I think it's reasonable, because we don't have so many other options.
Great, Ayush. I think that was a very a very crisp answer. I think, of course, I also totally believe that those companies which are trading at high valuations may have something which is very unique in them, and that's why they're trading at that valuations. So the next question I think is on what is discounted cash flow? Can you explain in Hindi? I think someone has.
Like honestly, if I say, I don't follow this discount cash flow, because it's not in my strategy, right? Like honestly, अगर मैं ये discounted cash flow ये सब follow किया होता, तो I would have never made money in the market. Yeah.
So great. So I think there's a very interesting question. Hi Ayush, I'm 20 years old and I feel like me missed out and feels like a failure kid as I've wasted a lot of my time. I see all my friends nailing it in their lives. So what's the advice would you like to give me? So I think that's a much more prudent question for you. So there's a 20-year-old guy who is feeling like missed out and failure, and I think that comes to a lot of people when we see our friends doing very good. It used to happen with
Exactly.
me as well, but so Ayush, first you on this answer, and then I would like to speak on this a little bit.
So, first of all, I would like to tell him that please stop comparing yourself with other people, right? You should compare yourself with you, because, like,
True.
you have to like improve every day by 1%, and then like compound will take care of itself. So please stop comparing by others. If you are improving every day, like you should not be the same person you were yesterday, and that's what matter. And another thing which I would like to say is that, first of all, there's a good news. You are just 20-year-old, right? And even if you go out and fail for every single day for the next 5 years, you will be just 25, and still you will have like around 75 years to go, right? So I mean, you have the time at your side, because I know so many guys like who are exactly at the same position, but they are in their 30s and 40s. So you should be grateful that you are in this position in your 20s. You have time by your side, and I believe that time is one of the biggest leverage which we have today. If someone come to me and they say that like Ayush, you have to again restart like from 10 years back, from zero, I would love to do that, because I know by the time I will be again 20, I will have 10 times more money than I have now. So please understand that time is one of the biggest leverage which you have today. So yeah, stop comparing yourself with others, and like just go out and explore yourself. I mean, the future is bright.
Great, Ayush. I think मतलब मेरे मन की बात छीन ली तुमने. It was the same answer I would I'd like to give him, that the time is the biggest factor which we have at such a young age.
Hmm.
There's nothing called failure. It's just learning and learning. You should learn at this age, and of course, you can definitely achieve a lot of things. And please believe in yourself, because the belief in yourself is the most important thing. Don't compare with anyone, because everyone is a special individual. Everyone has some own unique talent and unique
Exactly.
insights. So definitely you should not compare yourself with other friends, and I hope Karan you will definitely do very well in your journey. So a lot of people are asking for the recording. Don't worry, this is done on Facebook Live, as well as this video would be uploaded on our YouTube channel soon. So you can definitely look see this whole video, because I think a lot of people who had joined a little late because it was a Sunday night. So you can watch this on our
Some of them would
Facebook.
be watching IPL as well, I guess.
True, but the most outstanding thing, of course, when IPL started, a lot of people told me, ki, "Sir, you should change your timing. 9 baje mat karo. Some IPL hai." In fact, IPL's main stage is going on, but still we have still at after 10:15 we have more than 75 people on Zoom, and we have more than 25-40 people on Facebook. That itself tells that people are much more interested to learn and much more interested to hear speakers like you who have been sharing some great insights. Okay, so I'll lastly take two questions. So one question I think was there. Uh, In cash flows, do you see the operating cash flows, or do you see operating, financing, and investing both? All.
So mainly I see the operating cash flow because operating is the one which is main, and but please make sure that this cash flow thing will not work in any finance companies. If you compare this in banking company or in any NBFC company, so their cash flow will always be negative because they works in huge leverage 5-10 times, right? So please don't make mistake of buying companies buying finance companies by saying this cash flow thing. So operating cash flow you can like see in other companies, but please don't mix it with finance companies.
Great. So after selecting a company, how do you decide the entry and exit? Is it anything onto technicals, or do you decide with any of your own formula?
I purely decide this company with on fundamental and scuttlebutt approach. So in the presentation I said that how I went to the dealers and in the showroom of Maruti, and I asked them about the ground feedback, right? And so that is why how I rather go and meet with the supplier and dealer of those companies and customers of those companies, and I get the actual feedback. And obviously I look for in the fundamental part as well, because the entry point should be like very right, because if you're buying a good company at a high valuation, then that doesn't make much sense, right? And my like exit is totally depends on until and unless management doesn't screw things up. So I'm happy to hold the company. So like if the company is growing at 20-30%, and as long as the management is doing the right stuff, I'm happy to hold it forever.
Great. So one last question before we I tell you to give the closing word is how we can research about the distribution scale of a business. Someone has asked.
Like you can get all these details in the annual report, and you can also do some scuttlebutt kind of thing, and you can check the app like whether the distribution. I will give an example of Manpasand beverages. So this company was there's one good article on Google if you search Amit. I guess it's from by Amit Mantri. So if you just go and read that article, how the company manipulated all these things. So yeah, you can get the details on the annual report and everything about distribution. And but if you sometimes you also have to do the ground the check as well.
Okay. So I think that question is very much answered. So, Ayush, thank you so much for giving your time, for giving such a wonderful presentation. It was a pleasure to have you, and it was a pleasure to hear from you the great words on some great patterns which you have identified, which I think works very well, and which you have told with practical examples. The simple way you have explained it, I think that's really amazing. So thank you so much for giving your time, for preparing such a wonderful presentation, and the way matured way you're talking, and the way you want the country to grow, and the bullish view have you on the country. So I think you are going to have an amazing future, and I look forward to again have you maybe next year with some great more insights, more experience, and some closing remarks from you. How did you feel?
Thank you, Yash Bhaiya, for the opportunity. And I really enjoyed, this doing this webinar. And I'm amazed to see the great response from all the participants. Uh, and like, at the end I would just like to say that we it's high time that we need to start respecting our like equity culture, because as I said, we have only 3% people in India investing in stock market directly or indirectly. Compared with US and other developed countries, they have like more than 50-60% people investing in market. So it's high time that we become more like little bit of higher risk taker, and we come with in the market, because I find it really crazy. Like people would be investing 10 lakhs rupees doing MBA and those kind of stuff, but they won't be investing 10,000 rupees in the market because it's too risk, you know. So that is one thing I would like people, they can start with mutual fund. if they don't understand market, they can start SIP, but be a part of this growth. I mean, next 10 years would be amazing. So please don't miss this next 10 years. So yeah, that is from my side.
Great, great, Ayush. So actually, I remember yesterday we were talking, and you told me कि yeah, I would be able to speak for 1 hour or not. So you have achieved that, and you have honestly done that. And I think it was an excellent presentation, and I think everyone enjoyed it. So once again, thank you so much, Ayush. Thank you so much, all the viewers who have joined once again, who have who have encouraged us to bring speakers like Ayush every day, every Sunday on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock to have such a wonderful webinar where it gives us immense pleasure to call people like you all who share some great insights and knowledge, and the feedbacks which you provide us, the beautiful love which you provide us in terms of the feedbacks and the words which you use for us. Thank you so much everyone for that, and I would like definitely see you all next week when another young champ, and definitely the way Ayush has changed the vision we should have for our country, and the equity markets is there. I think the mindset would have changed for a lot of people, which is very very important, because वो mindset जब तक आपके पास नहीं आएगा to invest in equity markets, the culture would change. And try to all the one thing for the parents who are watching this webinar, that please don't force your kids to have a particular course or something. If they are interested in markets, if they want to pursue, if they are much more passionate and much more dedicated towards it, please allow them to enter into the markets, with the caveat, of course, it's risky, but it's well worth it if you give your 100%. So thank you so much everyone once again for joining. Keep sharing your feedbacks to us, keep sharing your love with us, because it motivates us to bring people. It motivates me to come at 9 o'clock every Sunday, so that I can bring people, I can interview people, and keep joining our knowledge groups, because we share a lot of data, a lot of insights in our knowledge groups on WhatsApp every day. So keep doing that. And plus, of course, thank you so much for the love on the YouTube channel which you have shown us. We have become a great family on YouTube as well, and this video would be soon uploaded definitely on the channel, and you can watch it anytime. A number of times you can watch it, and you can learn from the wonderful patterns which Ayush had shared. So thank you so much everyone. Keep sharing your feedbacks. Please take care of yourself, because still we are there in COVID times. So please take as much precautions as possible, and I'll see you all next week with another great young speaker who has been doing some amazing work like Ayush. So once again, Ayush, thank you so much. Have a great journey ahead. I wish you all the best, and I wish all the young people who are watching us all the best, and all the investors and traders who are watching us have a great next week ahead of trading and investing. We have US elections. So please be a little careful about the position sizing as well as the risk management. Be very careful about that. And I'll see you all next week with another great speaker. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Good night. Uh, Yash Tugar signing off. Bye bye.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Bye.